On this incredibly special episode of Ain't It Cool with Harry Knowles, we have special guest Beau Willimon. He's the creator of House of Cards, that amazing show that we've seen 2 seasons of, and we can't wait to see what happens next. Well, he was so relaxed, so brilliant, and so interesting that we decided to shoot a double episode with him. This is remarkable because we have a chance to get inside the head of one of the most talented, bright filmmakers that's working in Hollywood today. And he's already working with people like Jodie Foster and David Fincher and Joel Schumacher. He's already got James Foley directing for him, and that's just amazing. But more than that, he's pioneered streaming long-form content for television and the internet, and that is going to be incredibly important moving forward in the history of cinema. Now, sit back and relax. He's going to talk about Citizen Kane, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, a whole bunch of other stuff, and you've got the best seat in the house. Oh, hey folks, Harry here in my magical basement, and we're gonna get political. But you Democrats and Republicans, don't worry, I'm not gonna be pointing fingers at any of y'all. No, I'm talking about the politics that you see on the big screen. The movie politics. That wonderful place where the realities of the political system never really come to play. Instead, what we have is a system that seems to work effortlessly, where when somebody does a filibuster, it's for noble reasons. Reasons that we all want to applaud for every statement that he says over the course of it. Yes, in that case, I'm talking about the Frank Capra film, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Hey, Pops, could you put some Capra on the screen? Ah, excellent. Thanks, man. You know, the thing about Frank Capra's films that get me is, well, it's sort of what created my entire political philosophy. If you go to my Facebook page, I'm listed as being a Capracrat. And what that means is I'm fairly into populism. I'm very much, I believe in the will of the people of the United States, less than the representatives. And, a lot of that comes from Frank Capra, because in the 1930s, as we were in the Great Depression, he was making political films that really showed how America could pull itself back up by its bootstraps, how we had to take our government back from the special interest groups. And that was something that, being raised by hippies appealed greatly to me. And, when you see a movie like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington or Meet John Doe, that whole idea of tear down your neighbor's fence to mow his lawn, it just sounded realistic to me. And, the idea of, don't be afraid of your neighbor, go over and help your neighbor. It was sweet. I like that. But then at the same time, politics today always seems to have some sort of criminal aspect to it. But that's kind of the way Hollywood political films have always been. I mean, you take a look at Citizen Kane. Charles Foster Kane is a newspaper man who's tired of politics as usual, decides he's going to make a run for it himself. And what happens? He gets caught in the midst of an affair. He gets harangued by somebody who's a big political boss. You go through the world of politics and film, and there's always something creepy going on. You take a look at, All the President's Men, which is a factual one, and it's moody and scary and paranoia seeps in. That's one of the things that I really love about House of Cards. Over this year's Valentine's Day, I watched both seasons of it, and I got so caught up in it. I mean, Frank Underwood is one of those characters that just, he grabs you and you hate him so much because he's such a evil man, but you love him because he's just so unabashedly good at it. When you get to see a character that just embodies everything you fear about politics, but then you see him and he's so charismatic, it's just...
How you doing? I brought a friend.
Awesome.
It's good to see you, Harry.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, you are currently the showrunner mastermind behind the show that even Barack Obama is saying, don't give me spoilers on. What's that like to have the President of the United States talking about your political show?
Look, when the most powerful person in the free world is taking a few minutes out of his schedule to watch something we made, I don't know how you top that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, except for maybe my mom calling me after she watched the end of season 1, crying, saying she loved it so much. You can't trump your mom, but the president is pretty close behind.
Well, you know, for me, I look at Frank Underwood, and he sort of represents what I feel all the Republicans feel every Democrat president is actually like, you know? I mean, because it's just, this is a Democrat who is willing to kill people to get what he wants,
Right.
you know?